guys. I'm still learning how to do between the two of these, but I'm super, super excited because today we are here with episode 75. Oops, hold on. Episode 75 of the Colleen Gallagher podcast, which I feel like is so surreal to be thinking we're at episode 75. So, for those of you who have been listening, I'm just so grateful for this community. I'm so grateful what we've really accomplished in a year and a half. Like, it won't be till March 2022 that we even hit 2 years. And all of you who listen, honestly, I'm so grateful because I know that you're choosing to tune in to receive a frequency, to expand your mind, to expand your heart. And it's not something that's always easy. Like, the easy choice is to be numb, is to do nothing, is to just flow through life and not actually have to take accountability and responsibility that everything you do matters, every thought you think, every word you speak, every action you take. And so, with that, welcome to the Colleen Gallagher podcast. If you've never been, my intention for this is to be a place you can tune in for digital marketing, psychology, and new age spirituality, conversations that I have, or just rifting that I do on my own. And today we have a very, very special guest. She's someone who's like a harmonizer. You're just around her and your system harmonizes. You feel lighter. You feel like you just sat with angels on a spaceship. And so I'm super excited for the conversation. But before I get into that, I'm going to go through this sponsor today, which is Stamps.com. And since 1998, Stamps.com has been an indispensable tool for nearly 1 million businesses. Stamps.com brings the services of the U.S. Postal Service and UPS shipping right to your computer. Whether you're an office sending invoices, a side hustle, Etsy shop, or a full-blown warehouse shipping out orders, Stamps.com will make your life easier. All you need is a computer and a standard printer. No special supplies or an equipment. Within minutes, you're up and running, printing official postage for any letter, any package, anywhere you want to send, and you'll get exclusive discounts on postages and shipping from USPS and UPS. Once your mail is ready, just schedule a pickup or drop it off. No traffic, no lines. Cut the confusion out of shipping with Stamps.com new rate advisor tool. You can compare shipping rates and timelines so easily to find the best option. Save time and money with Stamps.com. There's no risk with my promo code POD, P as in Pam, O as in Oscar, D as in dog. You get a special offer that includes a 4-week trial plus free postage and a digital scale. No long-term commitments or contracts. Just go to Stamps.com, click on the microphone at the top of the homepage and type in POD. That's Stamps.com, promo code POD. Never go to the post office again. And so with that, I'm super excited to welcome Miss Grace Terry. And one of the things that she's a founder of is the Infinite Voice Academy. But Grace is a phenomenal artist. I would really say musician. I mean, you have offered some incredible contributions with frequency and your voice to this world. So how did you get here? How did this happen?
Thank you. I am so happy to be here with you, Colleen. Thank you for the invitation. It is with great honor that I am here. How did I start? Oh my, what a question. I guess it always has been my path to be in the frequency world of the music. So I started singing when I was 3 years old.
Mm.
And I remember my mother gave me like this record player because we used to have the vinyl, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So, and she gave me my first record, which was Barbara Streisand. I can remember that. So I was so impressed. I was between the age of 3 or 5 when she gave me that as a gift. So since then, the music has been part of my life, and I decided that I was going to be a singer. Not because, oh, I want to be a singer because I listened to this beautiful record of Barbara Streisand. It's because I already had in me. I start singing naturally, and my mother says, like, she was like, oh my God, my daughter can sing. What a surprise, you know?
That's wild. So like, was it, I guess, like looking at that. So did you know that you were good at singing and your mom was kind of like shocked, or was it more like you thought you were good at singing and then when your mom was shocked, you were like, am I good at it? Like, how did that happen or work?
No, I just knew that I was good at it. I mean, I felt it in my body, and oh, this is so natural. And one of the things that I realized that the things that come natural for you, that's the part of the mission. That's what you came to do. it's an effortless thing, you know? So for me, music was really effortless since I was a little girl. And I grew up with my mom. My mother is Hungarian. So she was very open-minded about a lot of things. She was like a very special teacher, not only my mother, for me in a lot of ways. But I grew up listening to Pink Floyd, to classical music, opera, uh, R&B. So I had a lot of musical culture. So I grew up listening to music every day in my life, and my mother always support me to be whatever I want to be.
Mm.
I think that's important. That
Yeah, I was gonna just say that. You took the words out of my mouth. I think it's very important because a lot of people that have listened to this podcast or are listening to this podcast, they were really only, I guess, programmed in a way or offered the opportunity of like a corporate mindset, right? Of like, you go to school, you get a job, and if you were to make something else out of that, it's not really going to support you, right? It's not going to be something that works. It's not sustainable. Like, and so a lot of people have pushed that down, which a large part of that is their voice, the visions they see, the way they experience reality. And so I think that's really important that you started that and had that from such a young age. And I guess what would you say to people who haven't had that? What can they start to say to themselves? What voices can they activate within themselves or bestow upon themselves to begin seeing this transition that you've had?
I think follow your heart, follow whatever it makes your heart sing.
Mm,
You know, you like really feel whatever you feel passionate and happy,
mm,
because I believe that this life is to be happy,
mm,
and to be happy you have to do something that every day makes you even more happier. And when challenges comes, you are in a state of no matter what's going on, I am doing this because this fulfills me in every way. For me, that's the passion, and that's the mission, you know, that's the vision, that you do something every day that is really, really uh, fulfilling you all the time. For me, music was that, you know,
mm.
and my mother support me. So I will say that for people that have children or has, you know, family, that support whatever it's effortless and make happy their children, you know, because that's what they're gonna do the rest of their life. So one of the things that is changing right now in the system, thank God, is that why has to do something that because you are going to be successful and make money if it doesn't make you happy? I don't see the point, or I don't see what is the sense in that.
I really love that you're saying this too, like just do one thing every day that makes you a little bit happier. And I say this in a different way. I've said it like do 1% better every day or 1% towards what's going to make you happier, that action, because over a year, that's 365% that you've done something of where you want to do. And I think the other thing though, I think it's like a tricky part in this is sometimes though, like the process of even if something's going to make you happy, like for an example, like podcasting makes me happy or, um, digital marketing, social media makes me happy, but maybe like the little trinkets I had to learn, like the hiccups, those maybe didn't make me happy, but that was part of the process. And if I didn't do those and I would have not overcome those and I would have stopped the whole thing, I would have been more unhappy. And I think a lot of people get caught up in like those, I don't know, those like small hiccups on their pursuit to their happiness. Does that make sense?
Yes, of course, but I think that's part of the challenge. Otherwise, it will be very boring if you don't have challenges, you know?
Mm-hmm.
This is a lifetime of a lot of challenges, but the more you are in tune with what your heart and your soul is in the same frequency, the more you will be happy and the more you will give the service to the community.
Mm. And one thing I like that you shared when you said that you can be in service to the community. And what I think is beautiful about what you shared is that since you're the founder of the Infinite Voice Academy, and it's like to be of service, you have to be offering your voice from a place of truth instead of from a place of what this organization wants you to do or what your mom wants you to do or your dad wants you to do or all these other people that have influenced you. And I guess talk a little bit maybe about the process of like how can people begin to create a habit of using their voice for what they actually want instead of just being on robotic, like saying whatever just to get to a result because that's what they're so used to. Like, how do we stop that habit and like break a new and like start a new one?
Yeah, one of the hardest thing for me was to really find my voice, and not only as a singer, as the way as a human being, because we've been programmed with so many things and systems, and it's a beautiful journey of discovery who you really are and what the frequency of is behind your voice,
Mm.
because the frequency behind your voice is your truth, and when you tap into that, where your life transform in every way. And and I witnessed that with a lot of my students and my clients, how to find your own voice. It's like a love story, you know you
Mm.
fall in love, and I will say you rise in love with your own frequency in a very wholeness way. And for that, I use very organic uh, methods, because I'm not like the typical singer, like la 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 la. So I will go more into who you are and what are you feeling, and from there we tap in your truth with your voice, and we do a lot of exercises starting at that point, like very organic, like the way you speak, for example.
Mm. And I think though there was I mean, there's still a time I would say in my life and people watching this, they would go like, Colleen's so good at talking, or like Colleen's done this. But I do feel like I had a lot of my life where I had to remember my voice. Like I remember really the first time was when I was in New Zealand. I was in a hotel room. I just moved from Auckland to Wellington. And I'm like looking out the window and I saw like Gaia TV and I'd never heard of it. And I'm like, get the 14-day trial. And I'm like watching it obsessively. And that's when I started to realize that there was more people out there who kind of experienced life the way I did, but like put language to it. And I think a lot of times, like wherever you are, it can feel really isolating because you have these things happening inside of you, like cognitively, your brain is having these things in your body, but you don't have the language to like communicate it into a sentence yet because no one's been shown to you yet, or no one's been attracted into your reality to like, I guess, activate or inspire that out of you. And I think I was there for a long time, which is, at 14, why I manifested thyroid cancer. And so I think it's just such an important journey. And I guess from looking from where you are in your career, even as an artist and with this, like, do you think the journey ever stops?
No, and I am happy that it never stops, because it's a process. It's like if you take a ticket, round the world ticket, and you travel the whole world. And I know that after you've done this, you grow up to a level that you really want to continue, because the process never stops. And it's a beautiful process, because I mean, the creator of God, or what you want to call it, it's always in expansion, in evolution, always, never stops. So we are the same, because we are one of the drop of the ocean of this beautiful existence. So we'll never stop growing. I think so. I feel it in my heart. I feel it in my voice.
I love that. And like I just breathe out even feeling that because I feel like it like releases my body just you saying that. But I think sometimes listening, I should say, but I said, and a lot of people here, they're listening to you probably and they're thinking like, well, yeah, but I could just stay in my job and do my retirement and, save my 401k and my Roth. Like that's growth over a lifetime in a way. But I know like when I would have thought that if I would have forgoed like the last 4 years of me traveling the world and doing everything I've done, like I would have stayed stuck. I don't know. And how do you think you can inspire, or what can we say to inspire people into action and out of that transition of linear thinking into more mindful and expansive thinking?
Well, I think life is a beautiful and a huge gift that was given to us, and we have a responsibility towards that. So the responsibility, in my point of view, is to really to expand and to be a better human being that I am already.
Mm.
So for that, it's a 100% continuum. It's a momentum process all the time. So I mean, it's nothing bad if you want to stay in a job that doesn't fulfill you and just get the money and retire. That's fine if that's your choice and that's part of your growth. Okay, it's fine. But I think right now we are in a tremendous opportunity to upgrade as a civilization, as a human beings, doing what we love. Imagine all the planet, all the people
Mm,
doing what they love and what they are good at.
I know.
I mean, that will be a completely different planet.
And I think it comes back to what you said of like being happy. Like, you know, I had someone on the podcast, Tara Delamy. I think it was like episode 40 something, but it was a really great episode. And she said something, you know, there was a time when I thought like people weren't happy. Like I thought that was just like a made up thing. Like I didn't think there were happy people. And probably as I've evolved, I mean, everyone sees me online or they know me and I'm like super happy and bubbly. But at the same time, I do feel like I experience a lot of dark emotions or density, like behind the scenes, I don't show on social media. I think one of the reasons I am such a light is because I go into the dark. Like, I don't know, I'm not afraid of it, I guess. And I've danced with it and danced with it in multiple ways to kind of better understand maybe reality or different things. But it's like I still am happy with each of my decisions. I'm still happy in what I'm doing. And like every moment there's a memory where I'm like, you know what, either I gave it my all and tried my best, or everything works out. Like, I don't know. Like I think this happy thing, like what you said, like just that 1% of happiness, that 1% of movement towards that. I think a lot of people think that's just not possible. Like it's just so not real.
Well, I think we all go once in our lifetime or a couple of times, and you know that about the dark night of the soul. And I think that's part of the process to really tap into your own happiness. Because if you don't tap into your own darkness or the dark moment that you are living, how can you really realize what is happiness? Not happiness like in a, oh, I am so happy. No, happiness as a fulfilled of being on accepting who you really are and be in love and be at peace with that. That for me is happiness. Happiness.
And I agree. And I feel that a lot of people listening to this, they want to get to the place that you're saying. Like I know a lot of them and they're like, I want to be at this place of peace and happiness. And I do believe one of the major keys to getting there is through your voice. It's through making a commitment to yourself that from here on out, no matter what, I'm going to be honest. I'm going to say what is on my heart. I'm going to say what's on my mind, even when it's challenging, even when it's hard, but I'm really going to commit to that.
Yes, and you will be, that tapping into your own truth and to your own voice, it gives you a lot of freedom. I mean, really, it's like I rest my case. It's like oof,
Yeah.
I just be who I am, and when you tap into that frequency behind the voice, because each voice has a unique frequency of love, of peace, of wisdom, and when you tap into that, believe me, because I experienced that over and over again, your life gets easier, and no matter what challenges you accomplish, and you realize that this is a unique experience to be alive. I mean,
Yeah. I
it's
want to share a story. Oh, go ahead. I'll share a story about what you just said. So I'm moving in 2 days and I was going to get a house I should do a whole episode on this, but anyway, I was going to get a house and then anyway, I didn't want to. Like something inside of me was just like, don't sign a 12-month lease. Like something, I can't tell you what it was, but every time I get that right, I've had enough practice now that I know I need to listen to that. Like, cause I've done this, for almost 4 years now, 5 years. And so I'm like, okay. And so anyway, I'm like, okay, I'll get an Airbnb. I'm like, no, that doesn't feel right either. And then I'm like, oh my God, I'll just jump from different hotels. Like this will be great. And I have to be here for my PhD because I have an in-person meeting in the first week of November. This will be amazing. And so anyway, I'm saying this. And then I had some things that I really didn't want to sell, but I sold a lot of my furniture, but things I didn't want to sell, like did not sell, like the things I was really like caught to. And it was my bookshelves and my desk, which are like the most important things to me. And so and my paintings. And I didn't put those up for sale. But anyway, so I find the storage unit and they go, we don't have anything to November 2nd. Obviously, that wasn't going to work for me. And they go, okay, like, let me call you back and see. Like, maybe we had a cancellation. And they call me back and they go, and I'm like, this has to work out because they're like they have like photo inventory. So like you guys, those, like I have all these business products that are going to be there, like all this stuff. So anyway, but you can look at your inventory through the photos and they will like then deliver to you. Like it's amazing. So I was like, this is the one for me. It's so easy. The price is like $300 a month, a little bit less, but like amazing basically. And so I'm thinking to myself, like, this just has to work. Like this cannot be November 2nd. Like, oh, I'm looking at the other things. I'm going to call this moving company. They come back. We have a spot tomorrow, Tuesday from 8 a.m. to 11. We can come in and get you. You just had to buy your things. I was like, oh my God, like my storage bins. I was like, I'm so grateful. But it was like that practice of like, oh my God, like literally, of course it worked out. And then of course that they're getting here the day before my moving company, because by the time they may come, I may have to just cancel my moving company and may not need them. And it was like one of those things that was just like, did that really just manifest? Like, did that really just happen? And I feel like in this life that we live, it was that inner voice that guided me in this thing of like, I know and I trust. And when things happen like that are just unexplainable, it's like, I know that I'm moving in the direction that I'm meant to be moving because it's like unexplainable.
Yeah, that's important. The inner voice, because one thing is that the one that you speak with, but the inner voice is the most important because from that inner voice is that you're going to speak out. You're going to be audible. And everybody going to listen. So it's amazing how a lot of people are really new into tapping into the inner voice and to really listen because we are so wise. I mean, there's a wisdom that it's in each one of our cells and our bones, ancestral, lineage that we already know. We just don't believe in that, but the more we do it, like a training, and you know it because you've been doing it over and over again, and I watch you doing so the more you do it, the more it's like an adventure. I mean, it's exciting to be listening. Oh, what should I do? Okay, I'm gonna tap into my inner voice. Oh, and and the path gets easier because you are following your heart. You are following your own wisdom. Each one of us has it.
I love that. And every time I listen to Grace, I just go in like, what's it called? Like it's like a daydream or what's it called? Like I go into like I think your voice is just like, serenade me. But I agree with you. And I guess like with all of this is probably a good question. Like for all of the music you've done, I mean, you've done so much and I know my favorite one, I think is the one that you did where it was like, maybe like a year ago, was it like something, was it Maria, something Maria? Yeah, Mary, there we go. Oh my God. I'm going to leave that in the show notes for everyone. You guys, you've got to listen to this. This is like next level beyond. But what do you think, like listening to that inner voice, that guidance with all the music that you've produced and, sang and done, like, how has that worked? Like if someone's like, I meant to sing, I feel like it, what do I do? Like, what's that story or process, like that whispering? So people who maybe have that happening can see it through your experience.
Well, I channel all my music. I mean, I just tap into my inner voice and like connect to this cosmic world, and it just came. All my music is made from this place, I never think, oh, I'm gonna write a song about this. I just tap into it and I say, okay, I'm a channel, I am a vessel, and so use my voice for whatever wants to come. And all of my concerts, live concerts, I do it like that. I have my musicians friends, and we don't know what we're gonna do. We do them. I always say we are doing music of the present moment because we are doing it right on site. So I never get prepared to, oh, I'm gonna sing this when I do a concert. I just go and feel the field of the audience, and then my musician just start following me, and we do the concert from there.
It's like what I just said about my moving company. Like this all lines up when you're in that space. Like it all just rearranges. It all just lines up. Everyone in the world wants to support you when you choose to say yes to what's really inside of you. And it's like, it just happens naturally. It happens fully. It just does. And I just love that about you. And so I guess the other thing I'd love for you to talk about is like the Infinite Voice Academy. So how did it birth? Like, what is it for people listening? How would they like what would be their journey there?
Well, it came through a dream because I had an experience, an out of body experience in 1996. Probably you weren't born. I don't know which year. I don't remember.
1993. So 3 years after I was born.
Three. When I had this experience, I had an out body experience, and they showed me. They took me to this place of infinite music. It was a sacred geometry. It was color. It was sound, and we were all that. So I said, "This is the origin." It was the most amazing experience. So from there, I didn't know what was the experience. After many many years, I realized that it was the divine awareness, or God,
Mm,
or
yeah.
goddess, we want to call it. So for me, in working with voice, not only as a singer but as a voice therapist, I realized that through the voice, because it connects to the origin, we have infinite possibilities of
Mm,
everything, in of all the realms. It's contained in our voice. So that's how, talking with my beautiful sister, an amazing mentor, Yvonne de la Flor, we got into it's an infinite voice. And yeah, and I said, yeah, it's an infinite possibilities through the
mm,
voice. So that's how it was born, with that.
mm. I every time I hear you talk, it's like I'm just like I'm in a symphony. But I just feel like I I again love like what you shared, like everything you've really just devoted your life to almost being a medium, like almost like kind of a television channel to make sense of it for people, like a television station, or you're like the radio, you're like the TV, you're like the computer. You've really just become this medium of vessel of choice to allow so many opportunities and things to come through you. Like you've become available for that. And from that, you've been able to then communicate it, let's say. And I really love that because I think a lot of us think we don't have a choice
Mm.
to say or to talk about what we want to share and talk about. And I love that you've just allowed so many things through. And I'm excited for more people to find the Infinite Voice Academy and be part of the infinity that can flow through them. And I think it's such a beautiful anchor that you represent in this lifetime and with it.
Thank you. And yeah, one of the beautiful things about the infinite voice is a journey. It's
Mm.
like when I say I'm not a voice therapist, even though people tell me, oh, you're a voice coach or therapist. No, I am a voice journeyer.
Oh, I got to write that down. Hold on, everyone. Write that down. Voice journey.
Yeah,
Oh my God.
that's how I envision myself. And it's like I walk you through that, but it's a journey, it's an experience.
I know when you said that, I just saw this like pink little, I shouldn't say pink, it's like a pink kind of, what's it called? Like hummingbird, but it has like a creature of like a bigger, like a bear that's like both. So it was like a hummingbird and the bear is like how I saw it. And it's like this pink like oval, but then it has the triangle.
Yes.
Yes, that's what I saw when he said it. Like it was like the perfect little thing of that. And so I think everyone definitely needs to go check you out. I definitely want to leave the link in the show notes for the Mary Magdalene. That's
Mhm.
so powerful. Like every time I listen to it, it's probably like once every 3 months or so. I'm guided back to it. I show so many people it.
Last week, I launched my new song, Avalon. So have you heard it?
Yes,
Avalon.
and the apartment building I live in is called the Avalon.
Well, that's my new song. And I
Okay, well, make sure I put that in the notes. And do you want to tell us what inspired that or what that one's about?
it's funny because I just chant. I just receive what is the frequencies, and then the in this case with Avalon, the name came later because I finished the song. I co-produced with one of my musicians, so I record the voice first. I just channel, like this was like a month and a half ago. I just went and I just start chanting, and I chant and I chant, and he records me. So I say, okay, I'm gone, because I was going to travel. So, and then 10 days ago, he sent me, oh, here's the song. Finally, he put the music with my voice. So, and I was like, wow, I listened to it and I say, I have to feel what it is it. And then I say, I'm not gonna I wait like 3 days to receive the information. And I was having a dream. And when I woke up, I just received Avalon. The name of the song is Avalon. Because I read many, many years ago, The Mist of Avalon, the book. I don't know if you read it.
Mm-mm.
Oh my, you have to. Mist
Okay.
of Avalon. So I put my headphones and start listening to the music, thinking of the Avalon name, and it clicked. I went through the Avalon. I mean, it was that. So that's how the name came.
Mm, I love it. I'm gonna have to check it out. I'll make sure to leave
Yeah,
it here.
especially if you are moving to an Avalon place.
I'm moving out of the Avalon. I've been here for
Out.
2 years. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
Well,
two
that's
years.
important. Let's see what the music tells you.
I will. I've been here for 2 years and 2 months, and so yeah, and it was such a powerful. This was such a powerful place because it was like a community where I live. So we had a pool, we had 2 working centers, we had a 2-story gym, we have our grocery, like everything is right within walking distance. It's like perfect. And this is, where I, wrote my third book. It's where I let go of my child. It's where I learned the name of Ella. Like there's so many things. Avalon is a sacred site. For those of you who don't know, it is a sacred site. So and it's like right by the Hollywood sign. Like I woke up every morning, I can see the Hollywood sign from my bed. Like, I don't know, this was a very special place. And I'm sad to leave. And I feel like I stayed longer because I loved the community, which I know you and I have talked about before. And um, even me not getting the houses, I feel like I'm going to start kind of doing the storage, like kind of the digital. I'm giving away so much on this podcast. But anyway, the digital nomad portion again for maybe like 2 months because I have to be back in LA the first week of January. But I think with, everything that's gone on, I haven't really traveled. I stayed here. I did a lot of healing and I'm excited to be free again. I'm excited to be at some other places. And so I'm definitely no coincidence that this is the song and you're on this podcast the day before, like 2 days before. It's just so funny. So yeah, but I think everything is always guiding you, right? And even like the thing of like, it could be stressful and like, I don't know what, a couple days, I don't know exactly if I'm going to a hotel or an Airbnb. And everyone's like, well, that could be so stressful. And I'm like, but it's not because it will come to you when it's right. And even like the storage unit, but of course the storage unit will work out. Of course, Grace Terry's on my podcast talking about her new song, The Avalon. I'm just sharing this as examples because this is, if I were to tell you how frequently this happens in my life, you wouldn't believe me. This is just before 10 a.m. on a Monday, what's happened. And so like, if you can think of that in your own life, it's like when you begin to follow what we've shared here, you begin to listen to the inner voice and that inner voice guides your external voice. These things just naturally happen for you where you're like, what? I just can't explain it.
Yeah, that reminds me. I don't know if you saw the movie The Blues Brothers.
Mm-mm.
Well, it's a
Tell
good
me.
with Dan Aykroyd and John Belushi. So there's a scene. It's a musical. It's a lot of fun movie. So there's a part. There's a scene that they are saying, like they have to do this mission, and they say we are on a mission from God. That scene just stays with me the whole my life. It's like we are on a mission from God.
Mm-hmm.
So when we are on a mission from God, we tap to all the synchronicities of the universe. Like for example, the Avalon where you're staying, and I am in. Just wrote the music of the Avalon and how it convey exactly at the right moment because we have the same mission to
Yeah.
service to community. That's the mission of God,
Yeah.
I think.
So, well, I'm so grateful for you, Grace Terry, and I'm super excited. Is there any last little nuggets you want to share? And I'll make sure to leave your website and your social media in the show notes, but feel free to say them as well.
Well, that always follow your voice
Mm,
because that's is the real wisdom. If you really want to find the truth, find your voice.
I'm writing this down. Always find your voice because that's where the true wisdom is.
Yes.
That is where the true wisdom is. I'm sorry, everyone.
It's
I've
okay.
never written anything down in my podcast ever, but I had to write it down. I had my journal open and that needed to go in there. So, but I think that's so true. Follow your voice because that is where the wisdom is. And I think definitely for me, as we close, I feel like I didn't always trust my voice. Like I always heard it, you always know it, but it's that thing of trust. And I think a really good mantra that I've definitely implemented and I recommend everyone is like, I trust myself. I trust who I am. I trust my process. I trust my journey. when you do that process of trust, everything just becomes easier. It becomes more expansive. And so,
And that's the door for freedom.
yeah. So, well, I'm super grateful, Grace. And you guys, I hope you loved it. She's such a special woman, and definitely check her out. I'll leave both the Avalon and the Mary Magdalene in the show notes for you guys to check out. But follow her on YouTube, turn notifications on, and make sure to tune into Through the Frequency every Monday at 9 a.m. PST. We're live on YouTube, and then we go on all the different platforms: Apple Podcast, iHeartRadio, Podbean, Stitcher, etc. All of them. But make sure to leave a review and share it with a friend. But we love you so much, and we're super excited to see you guys next week.